Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I want to talk about Bitcoin. Is it heading up or down? It's a simple question, yet so difficult to answer. So today I'm going to show you some things that point both ways and let you decide where it's heading. And I'm going to give you my opinion where I think it's heading. All right, let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like. Subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day. 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, although sometimes a little late, so that's why you want to hit that notification bell to get notified. And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com, which is 24/7, by the way. All right, guys, welcome. I'm going to get right to it since I am a little late. But you can see Bitcoin is still stuck in the same area. It has not moved for quite some time. In fact, about a month now, basically, hugging around this 47,000 mark, right? And many people are wondering, is it going to go up or down? There's just a lot of fear right now. So you can see that the fear and greed index is still at 23, which is in the extreme fear level. And I've covered this yesterday, last night, and many weeks before, right? Whenever Bitcoin tends to get into extreme fear level, and it stays there for quite some time, you know what's going to happen next. There tends to be a pretty good recovery, and you could see that over the last month or so, the fear level has been pretty down and stuck in that 20 range. However, is Bitcoin going to go up or down? Let's look at short term. And then let's talk about long-term too. First of all, if you look at headlines like this, you'll see that there are still a lot of Bitcoin bulls out there. The founder of Nexo, which is one of the leading lending platforms out there, them, Celsius, and BlockFi, there's a few of them. But the co-founder believes that Bitcoin will go to $100,000, right? And he believes it's just because of growing adoption and he's not alone. El Salvador President Vechain also expects Bitcoin to hit $100,000, and he believes that there's going to be more countries adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, and just overall, again, more adoption, right? And Plan B is still sticking with his stock to flow. Basically recognizes right now that there's just not a whole lot of movement. We've been stuck in between 40 and 60 range for quite some time. And it's very different than previous cycles. In 2013, you can see Bitcoin already ran up and started coming down. In 2017, it already ran up and started coming down. But in 2022, or 2021 and 2022, it hasn't really done either. It's still holding. But Plan B believes that stock to flow is still on track. So, these are the bullish cases, but what about, are there bears? Well, of course there is. There's not too many, but I was digging through this headline, and I saw this. Carol Alexander, professor of finance at Sussex University, sees Bitcoin going as low as $10,000 in 2022. So obviously, there are bulls, but there are also bears, and I went to her blog. And I was wondering why she thinks Bitcoin's going to go down to 10,000. And her rationale is tether and how it's manipulated. People use leverage, like 100x leverage, which actually she's wrong because Binance doesn't have 100x leverage anymore, only 25. But still, I get her point. And she's arguing that the whales are using tether, using large amounts of Bitcoin, and they can manipulate the market. And eventually, it's all going to be driven down to $10,000. So there are some Bitcoin bears out there, right? So who's correct? Are we going up or down? It's undetermined at this point. But short term, let me show you a few things that could change your mind. This is interesting. This is futures open interest leverage ratio. And this is something that I've told you guys, don't play with leverage because you're just risking it. However, people are not listening. So according to this right now, there's an enormous amount of leverage right now built up. But this is both ends, both longs and shorts. And you just don't know what may happen. But if you look at history going back to April, anytime, you can see it's highlighted even in red, Anytime leverage gets up to a certain point, there tends to be volatility, a buildup. And back in April, that buildup was negative. Back in August, the buildup was positive. Then you had September, November, December, which all turned out to be negative. And we're at that point where leverage buildup is at a high and something's about to happen. So we could either break up or down. If you're using history, at least in the last year, there tends to be more downs than ups. But remember, fear level is low right now. Bitcoin has been consolidating for a very long time, just like when it was in the 30,000. So that doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin will be going down this time. But it does seem like some explosive movement is about to come short term. Now, here's something else I'm just going to throw out there. Normally, I don't show a lot of TA, but I am going to show this one because I talked about 30,000 and how this TA trader is arguing that Bitcoin on its current trajectory looks very much like the 30,000 range, and it needs to come down and hit and touch 42,000 before it starts bouncing up, just like when it fell down to 30,000, it actually hit about like 28,000 and it hit it one more time before going up. So there are some traders that's anticipating that Bitcoin short term will go down. But again, will it, or will it just find its footing at where we are now? And it has been very, very strong and continue forward, and we may see that bump up. So that's short term. And again, you got long case and short case. I mean, let me take that back. You have thesis on both sides. Whether or not Bitcoin's going to go up or down, and short term, there's arguments for both. But for me, I'm looking at long term. And long-term thesis is upwards. And I'll tell you why. For example, JP Morgan, I've covered this before, is saying institutional investors are replacing gold with Bitcoin, right? But here's the thing. It's not just institutional investors. It's basically retail investors and everyone else around the world. I don't know anyone, honestly, that's buying gold at this point. And even, here we go, Wharton professor Jeremy Siegel says Bitcoin has replaced gold as an inflation hedge for millennials. And that is true. Look at all the young adults out there. Anyone that's getting in the game, none of them is thinking about gold. No one is thinking about gold right now, right? So this will be a continuing thing where it's only going to make Bitcoin stronger, because as millennials and institutions and public trade companies, as they move forward, they're going to look at ways to get involved with Bitcoin. Maybe for life-changing wealth, but also as a hedge against inflation. So this is not going to go away. This is still going to be ongoing, and we know inflation is real. It's no longer transitory, and I had to look up what that really means. There was this term by, Fed Chairman Powell thrown out there, transitory. What does that mean exactly? Basically, it means that he believes it's going to pass, and it's not going to cause economic damage. But now he has removed that thought because he's like, well, no, that is wrong, because inflation is sky high and reaching 7%, and we'll probably reach 8%, 9%, 10% soon. So that's why tapering needs to start faster, rate hikes need to start faster. So obviously it's not transitory, but that's why it's a huge endorsement for Bitcoin, because no one's buying gold. And gold is not a good hedge against inflation. Last year it was down. It's the only investment that went down, right? What isn't down is Bitcoin, up 60+% in 2021. So there's that, okay? What else is there? Well, you still have the miners, and this is just in. Marathon Miners now owns 8,133 Bitcoins, worth $375 million. And unlike miners before, which sold off whenever they felt like they were too in the green and they wanted to lock in some profits, that's just not the case anymore. These miners continue to hold. They continue to mine and hold and mine and hold. They don't sell any of it because now they figured out they're just going to borrow against their Bitcoin and continue to buy more miners and mine more Bitcoin and hold. So the miners are not selling. There's basically no new Bitcoins being released out in the market. You have to think about that for a second. More than 90% of Bitcoin has been mined. Everyone is trying to mine the last 10%. The last 1% will take 100 years to do. So right now, everyone's trying to get that last 9%. And guess what? The 9% is being held by the miners. They're not being released. So just think about that. Everyone is fighting over what exists now. And the circulating supply on exchange is about 16%. That means 84% is held by long-term holders like you and I, by now these institutions, and the miners. So there's very, very, very little of it left out there. This is what people don't realize. The big boys, the smart money keep accumulating, while retail is panicking and worrying about short-term volatility. Is it going to go down to 42? Or is it going to stay? Is it going to pump up tomorrow? You know, there's a lot of volatility, but retail investors are panicking while the big boys are accumulating. And that's what I want to follow. I want to follow what these guys are doing. And here's another good example of long-term holders. The third largest Bitcoin address, the third largest whale, just bought another $21 million worth of Bitcoin. And he has been buying, he or she, I should say, excuse me, has been buying Bitcoin anytime it hits 46,000. So he just bought, he or she, again, I apologize, 456 Bitcoin, and not too long ago, 241 Bitcoin, not too long ago, 120 Bitcoin, and not too long ago, 136 Bitcoin, and then 137 Bitcoin. So he or she continues to accumulate. Even the ultra rich, the ultra huge mega whales of Bitcoin is still buying and holding, not selling. They own billions of Bitcoin, yet they know it's going to be worth more in the future, so they will continue to buy and hold. Buy and hold. It's very, very important, right? And of course, while this is happening, the exchanges, the reserves keeps dropping. Keeps dropping more and more and more and more and more and more. Like I said, everyone is fighting over that 16% that's left on exchanges, and the 16% keeps dropping more and more. Eventually, it's going to drop to such a low point that people can't even buy Bitcoin on the exchanges. Maybe that's not going to be soon, but in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see that reserves drop significantly to the point where, yeah, it will be very hard to even buy Bitcoin, at least whole Bitcoins, let's say, on the open market. Maybe you have to then switch to sats, right? And very little sats at that. But this is happening. This is happening. So what's the point to all this? Is Bitcoin heading up or down? My thesis, my narrative, my whole thing is long term, it's going to go up. It's undeniably at this point, all the facts and figures point to Bitcoin becoming more scarce, more adoption, more buying, more holding, and there's only one direction Bitcoin could go, and that's upwards. Short term, a lot of speculation, a lot of TA, a lot of technical analysis, a lot of charts, a lot of moving averages and indicators, and you know what? It's anyone's guess. 50% of the time it's right, 50% of the time it's wrong, right? And there's a lot of people that's fearful short term because they just don't know. It seems like retail investors want confirmation. They must know that it has to go in this direction before they make a move. But that's just not the thing. That's trying to trade. That's trying to outsmart the market. What you want to pay attention to is how to invest. How to invest long term. How to invest for life-changing wealth or simply financial freedom. That is what everyone needs to concentrate on. Not worry so much about short-term, day-to-day volatility. All right, so that's what I want to say about Bitcoin. And then just a few other little things that are interesting, hopefully. Number one is Melania Trump, all of a sudden, retweeted this. And this came out yesterday. I didn't cover this yesterday, but I thought I'd cover it. It's on CryptosRUs.com. And she's not only shilling her own NFTs, but also just recapping Bitcoin's 13th birthday, which shocked the hell out of people. He's Melania's husband, of course. Donald Trump, President Trump, was not a fan of Bitcoin before. So it seems like she has turned. I don't know if she's been converted or she's simply doing it because she wants to promote her NFTs. I don't know, but I thought that's just very, very interesting. A lot of people got caught off guard with that. Another big news that came out today is China is finally launching their digital yuan. And interesting enough, they're launching their app on both iOS and Android. So, China usually controls all the marketplaces, controls all the social media and everything. But they are launching this on iOS in the Apple App Store, and Google Play Store, which is interesting. And people will be able to use this and utilize their digital yuan freely. So China is moving forward. US right now has no response. Other countries are trying to come out with their CBDCs, right? But they are definitely ahead of the game right now. And we'll see what this brings and whether or not China is ready to fully embrace crypto. Because we know they're all about control. But what about crypto in general? I'm theorizing they will cater to their own in the future. And I think that's going to be big for many projects in the future. All right. And then lastly, I have to announce this. Of course, Vechain, one of the projects I support, have now announced their own stablecoin, the very first stablecoin within Vechain Thor's blockchain called VeUSD. Now, this is different than what was speculated because just last night, I covered about this idea about coming out with their algorithmic stablecoin and introducing token burning. But now it seems like they don't want to do that. They want to go in a different direction. So this is actually backed by USD. So every single VeUSD minted will be fully backed by physical reserves of fiat money that could redeem that 1-to-1 ratio at any given time. And the reason why they want to do this is because they want to integrate it into the Thor wallet and make it easy for people to actually mint VeUSDs and actually burn it when they don't. So they want to make it so that it's actually pegged to $1. In my opinion, I would have preferred to see this as an algorithmic stablecoin because you could do more with it in terms of tying it up to maybe VeThor or VET and actually introducing some kind of token burning. With every VeUSD that gets created, you burn a VET, something like that, like what Terra is doing. And it has been very, very successful with Terra. But they're going in a different direction. And this is still positive because why? Because Vechain realizes that they have not been taking advantage of DeFi. DeFi is what's hot right now. Whether or not you're a B2B project or B2C, DeFi suits both. So they really want to jump into DeFi for 2022. Last night, I covered a couple exchanges that came out, DEXs, I should say, right? But now there's going to be more. And then now you can integrate this with other chains too. And there's more that they want to do with, smart contract settlements and economics, and also how to integrate it with VeThor. I mean, there's a lot of things that they're working on right now. But I did want to announce this. This is pretty big for Vechain, and I got to say it's about time that they're really taking DeFi seriously. Right? So just want to cover that. All right. Outside of that, today overall still kind of neutral. You got some projects starting turning green, right? Some that are still in red, but overall the market still seems to be waiting, right? A lot of retail investors are waiting for some kind of confirmation. But you know what? Bitcoin will move. It will. You just have to be patient. It's just a matter of being patient at this point. All right, that's it. Now let's do some Q&A. All right. Scrolling up, Tiberia says, gold lost value in 2021. Enough said. End the story. TKO win for Bitcoin. That is true. That is true. I don't know what Peter Schiff says anymore. I saw him on Pomp's show maybe a few months ago, and he was asked why gold has not gone up, and I forgot what he said, but whatever he said just didn't make a whole lot of sense because everything else that's seen as store value has gone up. Everything that's seen as a hedge against inflation has gone up. Even things that shouldn't be a hedge of inflation has gone up, except gold. Gold is the only investment that did not go up and actually ended in negative. I mean, literally every single investment vehicle out there, not just Bitcoin and crypto, but stocks, equities. You could look at NFTs. You could look at basketball, baseball cards. You could look at watches. You could look at cars. I mean, you could argue anything has done better than gold in 2021 and probably 2022. All right. Birdtown Music Group says XRP fudders are here. There's no fudders of XRP. XRP is a fine project if you want a coin that just simply will not move. But it is still in the top 10. That lawsuit needs to be settled before it really starts moving again. MicroStrategy question mark. I don't know what your question is. Yes, MicroStrategy has been buying a whole lot of Bitcoin. I saw you on TV wearing the same shirt. No, that was a sweater. Look again. I was on Yahoo Finance. Let's see. Have you seen Ragsy? No, I have no idea who she is. But if she likes Legos, that's a plus in my book. I have not had any chance to build any Legos at all. What do you think about Algo? Would you buy a chance at today's price? Well, it would have been better before it pumped up. The last day or so, it pumped up a little bit. Algo is a fantastic project. For me, I'm not as familiar with them as, say, some of the other L1s, but I know they're making huge strides in Latin America, including El Salvador. And they do have a robust system, too, for DeFi and NFTs. More so with NFTs, as far as I know. I don't know how robust their DeFi ecosystem is, to be honest. So, again, not 100% familiar with them, but I know that they are making waves. Let's see. CBDCs is lower than bad coins like sheep. CBDCs can't be stopped, okay? And you got to think about this. Would you rather have, let's say, a digital USD versus Tether? I mean, with all the controversy around Tether, I would rather have a digital USD than Tether. Not to say I want to get rid of the other stable coins. I think stable coins serve a purpose, but you know what? If something replaces Tether, that's fine by me. And many other countries, the reason why they want to introduce a CBDC is for stability, because their own fiat has collapsed or keeps inflating at a hyperinflation rate, so they are looking to come up with something better. And some countries may implement Bitcoin as their reserve. They may sell off all their gold and go with Bitcoin. And then imagine backing CBDCs with Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's wild. That's wild and could be a possibility in the future. Bro, XRP is going to be big once lawsuit is over. Like, keep in mind, XRP didn't always have the lawsuits. In 3 years, basically, it has not moved. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I still don't like the premise of XRP. I mean, I just don't. Do I like Cadena? Yes, I've talked about them many times. I think they're still early. They're still growing. I'm looking forward to what CADX is going to do for them with their new DEX, and they released their beta mobile wallet. So Helium, there's actually a fantastic article about Helium on CryptosRUs.com, but I like Helium. If you check my older video in 2021, I covered them when they were like dirt cheap. When I discovered them, I thought they were very promising, and they got more promising because they went into 5G. They were more about low band Wi-Fi mesh network, and then they integrated and got involved with 5G, and they have a big partnership with Dish Network. So now they're helping deploy 5G antennas in cities. So they're actually in a really good spot. 5G expansion is very big. So I like them. I like them a lot. Annie says, I know you did a sponsor talk about Vault. Are they legit like Celsius Nexo or questionable since they are new? They're actually not new. They've been around for quite a long time. Are they as reputable as Celsius or Nexo or BlockFi? That's to be determined. But I know they have been around quite a lot, and they are also US based. So I would say if you want to look at them, do more research, but they have been around for a while. Thoughts on Harmony? Can you see it reaching Polygon's price? Yeah, but right now what's really driving Harmony is DeFi Kingdoms, which is exploding. And so it's really helping them. But Harmony also has, pretty good and growing ecosystem. So as long as they continue forward, growing the ecosystem, and I know they are, right? They have own fund to get more dApps involved. They're getting bridges built. There's a lot of things that they're working on. So as long as they continue, yes, one day they can definitely go higher. Brian, I love your channel. Watch almost every single day. I appreciate that. Storm X. I've always been neutral on Storm X. Am I in the metaverse? Not right now, but I want to be. Jeff, I appreciate it. When I do those interviews, I keep my answers very short and precise, like you said. That's what I try to do. I don't try to over talk, but I wish they would ask more questions. They always tell me like, hey, your segment's gonna be about 10 minutes, right? And then like yesterday's segment was like 6 minutes. So that's because there's like no follow-up questions. They're just like, those hosts are trained to just ask a few questions, that's it. They don't really know much about the topics, I think, so they can't really ask follow-up questions. So yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. If they ask me, I'll continue to go on. Biggest themes to look forward to in 2022. The biggest theme in 2022, I still think it's the growth. There's two themes. Number one is growth of L1s. I think L1s are going to become more dominant. And as that grows, right, my strategy of 50, 25, 25, I think needs to be changed. Because right now, 2021 proved, at least to me, because short term, there's always going to be coins that stay stronger than Bitcoin, right? But an entire year, that proves to me that these L1s are finally ready to stand on their own. And that is why they're gaining on Bitcoin. Their dominance is going up and Bitcoin dominance is going down. So I'm going to have to rethink my portfolio, distribution or portfolio strategy, because I think in 2022, the L1s are going to continue to get stronger. And the second theme is, I think, anything that deals with metaverses, like play to earn games, or metaverses themselves and NFTs that's involved, I think they will get stronger too. So those are two themes. Let's see what else. Oh, and tax software. Look at coin tracking on the screen there. If DeFi and Kingdom market cap was verified, it would be a top 90, 1.3 billion, first gamified DEX I've seen. Yet that's part of the reason why they're doing so well. You really can't get that Jewel token anywhere outside their DEX. But I know they have a separate token, I think called One. I don't know where that's being held. But DeFi Kingdoms is trying to become the next Axie. And they're not too far off. They're only, 4x off from there. So if they continue to grow, it'll be great for them. but also it's really, really helping Harmony. I mean, Harmony has been doing very well because of them. Where's Harmony? Maybe I passed them already. There were several billion right here. So you could see Harmony started moving recently, has been moving up a lot within the last 30 days and 90 days, mostly because of DeFi kingdoms. But Harmony is not just, it's not just one dApp ecosystem. They have a lot. They have a lot in their ecosystem. Anything? Yeah, someone says ADA is dead. I think that's a mistake. I don't think people should count ADA as dead. And first of all, look at it. If ADA is dead, it will not be in the top 10. Let's just call that out right away. And second of all, Cardano, they're still building out, right? 2022 could be a big year for them. I've seen it before. When they were below 10 cents, they would simply not move until they did. So I would not give up on Cardano just yet. Did you see Axie added on Brave browser with their new land Axie land in Metaverse? I forgot if it's on Sand or decentralized. Decentralized, I did not see that. So I'll have to look into it. Are you kidding? Altcoin season is full effect. No, this is not altcoin season. If you lived through the last few weeks of 2018, then that's true altcoin season. Literally every day, 20, 30% gains every day for basically 4 weeks. That's true altcoin season. But there's no doubt that altcoins have been getting stronger, especially the L1s, which shows that yes, they are ready to stand on their own. They're ready to decouple away from Bitcoin, and because they have true usage. DeFi, having close to $300 billion locked in DeFi is legit. It's real. People are using DeFi, right? This didn't happen before in 2017 or 2018. DeFi was non-existent. It wasn't until 2020, late 2020, when DeFi started coming up. So L1s are definitely starting to decouple. That people have asked me before, like, when are they going to decouple? 2021 is the year they start decoupling. Not completely, but they have. That's why you could see someone like Ethereum. The Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance has been slowly creeping up over the last few weeks. It was below 20%. It was like 19%. Now it's above 20%, right? It's slow and gradual. You may not notice it day to day, but after a week, a month, 6 months, you'll notice that the dominance is increasing. All right. I think that's it. Be patient. DeFi Kingdom's DEX. Lots of system errors when attempting to purchase token, but your transaction will eventually go through. Well, that doesn't sound very good, but thanks for the warning. Thanks for the heads up. Is the best of all coins behind us? No. Like I said, one of the main things of 2022 is the growing dominance of L1s, I believe. I don't think that's going to stop. I think L1s will continue to get stronger as the ecosystem gets bigger and more money flows in. And trust me, more money is going to flow in, not just from retail. Even institutions are eyeing these big L1s, right? I mean, there was an article recently how there was about $100 to $150 million going into Polygon. And many others, FTX continues to support Solana. And Binance themselves is throwing a lot of money out there, right? Terra, same thing. There's a lot of money flowing in. So L1s, I think, are going to get stronger. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Is Bitcoin going up or down? Short term, no one really knows. Everyone's guessing, right? But long term, I know where it's heading. It's heading up, right? And there's just a lot of support, a lot of support cases for that. There's just so many, and I cover them every single day. So if you want to learn more, make sure you continue to tune in. Smash the like, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.